get into this for everybody who's still hanging around, people who've stuck with us. Thank you. If you want to know our top 10 dynasty running backs, you should just stick around because we're about to do it right now. So, how do we want to do this? Do we want all of us to say it at once, or do we want to go like who's your one and then circle around the wagon?
Let's go in the circle. And like I said, if someone already talked about a player, we don't need to talk about it again. You'll say, "Oh, I had him at 2."
Yeah. Okay. I suspect we're going to start at 1 here. Again, this is top 10 dynasty running backs as we see it. You might see it differently, and if you do, please tell us. Tell us we're bins. Tell us we're buns. Hot cross buns.
Can I just do a quick shout out to, if you're watching this on YouTube, if it makes it there, go look up Not Stupid Podcast on YouTube and hit subscribe. We want to start uploading some short form videos
hit
there.
The bell too to get notifications for when we get new videos.
Subscribe, hit the bell, show support. Comment section, if you guys comment anything, it helps the YouTube algorithm. That's a fact. So help us out. Poor favor. Go ahead.
I want to quit my day job. I want to do this for a living. But for real, if you subscribe, we're going to do some shorter form videos, a little more palatable, so you can listen to them while you're making breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever meal you want in between.
I like full concentration on making breakfast, like how Tom likes full concentration on one league.
Yeah.
Yes. Understandable. Those over medium eggs have to come out perfect. Yep. That's right. We live together. All right. So here we go. Once again, top 10 dynasty running back assets as we see them. I'm sure there's going to be some quandary between us and there's going to be some commotion, but we'll get to it. So I'm going to start out with the man who's hosting us, Mr. T-Pop himself. Who's your number one running back asset?
All right. I might call some whatever word you said before there, Dennis.
God.
I might start it real quick, and my number one running back for dynasty purposes is going to be Jonathan Taylor.
Oh boy. Okay, Al, who do you have?
That was a close pick for me, but I'm still going with Christian McCaffrey at number 1.
I'm also going Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Guy's 24. I know he's coming off an injury, but he's still so good.
He's actually 25.
Averages 30 points a game ish, something similar to that. So I think that's hard to say.
My only comment will be you probably can't maybe expect the same production because is he going to be in literally in every touchback like he was, whether it was a reception or a carry? I don't know, especially with Ron Rivera gone. Is he that? I mean, he's still a big part of the offense, but does he still have that old Christian McCaffrey role? I guess I'll say.
He's just so efficient with his touches for how much he gets to. It's just
he does everything, and he's really good at everything. And again, too, I understand maybe next year we're having a different conversation about this, but for me, until I see it not happen, I just got to assume it's going to happen, especially he's just so dominant. So I'm going to kick it to you, Thom, and I want to know why Taylor takes number 1.
I don't know, man. I like his situation a lot. I don't know. I just like the player. I like the player a lot. I liked him in college at Wisconsin. I thought he was really good. I thought his game really started to transfer to the NFL, especially towards the latter part of last season. I just think he could be a dominant force. So I guess I'm taking a little bit of a gamble. Obviously, he's super young. He's a second-year running back. So, yeah, I guess it's my reasoning. It's more of a gamble. I guess it's more of a gamble pick, but he's still fairly high-ranked anyway.
I think if you look at him as a pure running back, and I think athletically, I think it's kind of a wash. I might even give that to McCaffrey a little bit more. But the thing I worry about for me to make him, and don't get me wrong, he's high up my list as well, is you still have a guy like Nyheim Hines who's going to get a lot of play with Taylor. He might not be as effective from a fantasy standpoint because Phillip Rivers isn't just dumping the ball off to him 24/7 anymore. But until I see Taylor on the field for 92% of the snaps, like McCaffrey is, I can't give him the number 1 spot. A year from now could be different, but that's just
totally understandable.
So who do you have as number 2 then?
I have Christian McCaffrey at 2.
That makes sense. That's good.
Makes it easy here. I have Jonathan Taylor at 2.
Okay. I have Saquon Barkley at number 2. Bruce, who do you have?
Yeah, I still have Dalvin Cook at number 2.
So dynasty asset. Interesting. Why pourquoi?
Because he's still relatively young, especially I think did was he still hurt at all last year? I don't believe he was anything serious.
Nothing major.
But
He
He
was
might have
right.
missed a game.
He was hurt,
something.
but it was
But
yeah. I think
Cook is just so efficient. I know I only have McCaffrey better, but Dalvin Cook, I just think he's still young enough to dominate the league and dominate fantasy. And he's a guy you draft him and he could win your league for you. I would trade a lot for him. I mean, I don't
How old is Dalvin Cook? This is the
25.
question I have to
25.
ask.
He's still
Yeah, same age as McCaffrey.
Interesting. It's interesting because I feel like he's an older 25 than McCaffrey.
Oh
I
no,
don't
you know what?
why,
He's
but
He's about to turn 26. There you go. In August, he'll be.
I was gonna say yeah. Again, for me, I'm gonna say because I deviated from you guys, I went Saquon at 2. Only I know the injuries are there, which is a question mark, but I still think for what the Giants are gonna want him to do, he's not gonna come off the field, and if he's healthy, I think that's invaluable. Just touches alone. I know the offensive line is a bit of but like. I don't think he's one of the best guys at catching the ball out of the backfield, and like any play he can take it to the house. And I don't necessarily think that every running back on this list can do that. Cook, again, a guy I like a lot, but Saquon is
also just
me,
add
so.
for Cook, almost adding to Cook's value is that when he did miss games and another guy not big time ranked, but Alexander Madison's pretty highly touted as far as like a dynasty asset, handcuff, what have you. But every time he's had the chance to have a game where he's a workhorse, he hasn't delivered. So
every time he's had the chance, he also gets hurt.
That's true.
I also think
you,
it's
Mike
more
Boone.
about Mike Zimmer. I think it's mostly about Mike Zimmer than it is more about.
I heard
Madison,
you say Mike
and
Boone
I
at
don't know
first.
necessarily Mike Zimmer.
Someone said Mike Boone.
I just said, looking at
Oh,
Mike Boone.
Wasn't me.
I just heard you both talk at the same time. I was like,
It
that's more
wasn't
about
me.
Mike Boone. I was like, I don't think it's more about Mike Boone.
But I think Madison
definitely not.
maybe not being anything special, and obviously they paid Cook, so he's going to be there, and they're going to use him. He's probably the best player on that team. So
All right.
that's where I'm at with that.
Oh, you want to add a little piece there about why you like Taylor at 2?
I think Tom already covered it pretty much. I just couldn't give Taylor the number one crown over McCaffrey yet, just because of how good McCaffrey is. Because even the 3 games he played, he was still averaging 30 points a game this year. So I couldn't give Taylor number 1 spot yet. But just for a guy to be that young and looking that dominant at the end of the year and being in a decent situation, I have high hopes for him moving forward.
Nice. All right. Fair enough. Who you got at 3?
Number 3, I have Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. Doesn't get the top spot, gets the 3rd. I'm assuming for similar reasons to Bruce because is kind of a dominant player.
Yeah, I think out of every running back, to be honest, besides maybe Derrick Henry, who I'm sure will come up later in this list for people, I think he's just as dominant as McCaffrey, to be fair. When he's healthy.
Interesting. Al, who you got at 3?
This makes it pretty easy. I also have Dalvin Cook at 3. I think the only thing that pushed him to 3 for me is that the year-to-year history of injuries is what worries me more with Dalvin as compared to, like, McCaffrey got hurt this year, but it was just really a this-year thing. But still going to leave him at number 3 for when he's healthy. The points he scores is great. And he's still, turning 26, starting to get at that point where you have to start thinking about what do you want to do on your team. But for now, the next couple of years, he'll still be very good.
It's interesting how you guys did it. I think for me, I looked more towards like the future for my top 5. I did for 3. I did Jonathan Taylor. Just again, not to harp on it too much. Just athletically dominant, great offensive line, and just dominated towards the end of the year. Not too much to say about that, but I still would take McCaffrey and Saquon over him. Bruce.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley at 3. I mean, I think these first couple, unless you're really throwing like a hot take out there, it's kind of all like unless you're throwing
like
none
Boone.
of us did, right? Like none of us did. Like nobody threw out like some hot take like top 3 dynasty running back. So it's kind of all like similar reasons. But I think the top 3 is all pretty close.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
like
Saquon at
you
3.
really can't go wrong. So 4, number 4. Tom?
All right, speaking of hot take, I got one here at number 4. Number 4, I have running back Cam Akers from the LA Rams. Before Earlier
Literally-
tonight, you guys told me that you don't like Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers could be one of the best running backs in the NFL. So I'm going Cam Akers, and I'm banking on the LA Rams being very good, and I'm banking on Matt Stafford utilizing him the way he's supposed to be. So I'm going Cam Akers at 4.
Hey, hold on. I'm going to call time out there. How is Stafford supposed to? What do you mean by that? Like Stafford to use him how he's supposed to?
Well, Stafford's going to run the offense better. Well, supposedly going to run the offense better than Jared Goff in the first place, which should create more opportunity for Akers just by being a better quarterback. Let alone, I like the offensive scheme they play. I like the play callers they got over there. I think Cam Akers is in a very good situation. So I wasn't the biggest Cam Akers guy until a couple months ago, where I really started, I guess, studying the Rams situation, and I'm just banking on Akers now. I guess I like him.
He's not even in my top 10, but that's just me. Al, for you.
Yeah, I don't know about Akers, man. I feel like I just didn't see it. I didn't see why he would be this high for me. I feel like we're just banking on this ceiling that is. I think if I'm betting, this the chance of that happening is not very good. I'd rather take some more of these more sure things, and yeah. So I don't know. Sneak peek, he still made my top 10, but I wouldn't pick him this high. Number 4, I have Alvin Kamara. I think this is pretty simple too. Guy is still 25, I believe. 25 for Kamara? Yes, still 25, and is heavily used in that offense, even with the new QB. Even if it's Taysom Hill, I know there was a couple games there that we were looking at it saying, oh, what's going on with Kamara? But then he ended up having at least a game there that he was very good with Taysom Hill as the QB. So regardless of who's the quarterback, I think that the Saints know that he's probably the overall best offensive player on their team. And I think they'll use him, continue to use him as they've been using him.
Interesting. All right. Well, I was going to ask you as my follow-up if you were worried of Taysom Hill, but you articulated that. I'm happy about that, so I don't have to waste my breath, but I'm doing it now anyway. So number 4, I guess is a bit of a hot take from me, but Najee Harris, I just, again, haven't seen it yet, but again, just a complete back is not going to come off the field, and I'd rather that than with running backs. With me, it's a little strange. I have guys like Cook and Henry and stuff on there, but I would rather own first contract running back and a guy before he kind of starts hitting that downcline. Because to me, a guy like Cook and a guy like Henry is right around now is right when you want to trade them, and that's just kind of how I see that. But to me, Najee Harris at 4.
I agree with you. The way that I like to do it too is I think right around now is when you would be trading them. But in a startup, I think this is still the order I'd be going, and then maybe I'd be trading before they even play a game for my team. But
sorry,
I only disagree with Harris so high right off the bat because I think listen, it was all landing spot for him. Like he clearly went to a spot where he's gonna get his touches. Did Najee Harris? I don't know. I have him way lower than that. I guess. I don't know if you want to just said Harris, but I'll just wait.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah. So yeah, number 4, I'll agree. Kamara. I think maybe the concerns are slightly like you said, but if the Saints don't find a way to get him the ball, then I think clean house of a coaching staff, regardless of the history and whatever else you want to say about Sean Payton. But if somehow Kamara struggles with whoever plays quarterback, that would be criminal because he's just too good. But yeah, I have Kamara at 4.
All right. Okay.
I think my one thing with Najee Harris, by the way, to go back with that, is just I am worried about what the Steelers are going to look like after this year. Like very worried. So that gives me a lot of trepidation of picking a guy that high.
It's a good word, trepidation.
Thanks.
Totally get it, but again, I would like the touches are what's important to me. So, and the youth as well. All right, so let's go top 5 here, and number 5 to you, Thom.
Number 5, I have Saquon Barkley, New York Giants running back, coming off of injury this year. You guys kind of summed it up already. That's the only reason why I have him down at 5, just because he's coming off of a pretty significant injury. See what he does.
Mm-hmm. I think Saquon has the most highest ranges of outcomes of just about anybody here, because I think you're going to see him later on in this season, if he stays healthy, be a real force. But that's just me. Al, number 5 for you.
Yeah, I also have Saquon Barkley here. again, as Tom said, coming off a pretty significant injury. They already said just either today or yesterday that there's no timetable for when he's going to be ready. So who knows how bad it actually was? It could have been worse than we thought. But even so, even if he was, like, you could guarantee me that he's healthy. I don't know how much I like the Giants situation, and that's not like even this year I'm not so sure about it. And going forward, it's kind of the same thing with Pittsburgh. It's like after this year, there's so many question marks there that he drops down to number 5 for me.
Okay. Five at 5 here. I have Dalvin Cook here finally. It's just the age for me. Obviously, for the year, you're gonna take it, be dominant. But for some reason, I can't. I think with him, it's Mike Zimmer. And I don't know if he'll be there with the Vikings next year. Who
Kind of a
knows?
make or
with
break
that.
year for him,
Yeah, they've kind of got to do something. I think they will.
They
'cause
just
I
have
think that team is a little too good.
they completely changed their defense around. So like last year, I know every single one of their picks. I think this is what Phil keeps telling me, the Vikings fan, that every single one of their picks was on defense, or at least most of the top picks were on defense. And they're one of the youngest defenses in the entire league. So I think like Mike Zimmer being a defensive coach, he's trying to really completely change everything. I know they had a couple injuries last year. I know Hunter was out. I forget everyone else. There was one or two more players on defense that were out. So them coming back this year should make that better. And as long as the defense gets better, I think they'll be a solid team. But if that doesn't happen, yeah, I could see Mike Zimmer definitely being gone.
All right, Bruce, for you, round out the top 5.
Jonathan Taylor to round out the top 5. Same reasons.
Why so low for you? Why so low?
I just like everyone else on my list more. Like, it's just the talent. Like, I just think Taylor's talented. It's not. I mean, I just think as far as how I rank them in terms of who I want, that's just where I'm at with it. Like, that's kind of it. It's relatively close. Like, it's not saying like if you offered me, it's not like I'm going to refuse Jonathan Taylor. But I don't know. It's like it's close. It's just kind of like you're talking about if I
because of the implication. Because of the implication.
Yeah, like it's not like a knock. I mean, it's just you could argue why have Saquon at 5 over. It's like it's his personal.
Get it. All right. So for the rest, for the 6 through 10, try to get a little more speed on this because I think this is where we might differ a smidge, but I still think relatively we're all going to be within the same here. Thom, who you got?
Number 6, I have Nick Chubb.
That's 6. Okay. Al, who do you got?
Number 6, I have DeAndre Swift.
Interesting. I have King Henry himself at number 6. Who do you got there, Bruce?
I have Aaron Jones at 6. Still super talented. Still got a lot of legs left.
All right. 7th, Thom.
My number 7 is Alvin Kamara.
Al, 7.
7 is Derrick Henry.
Antonio Gibson for me. Bruce?
Oh.
Interesting. I mean, still really good. Yeah, Derrick Henry, 7. Just again, the talent. You still want him on your team. I know it's dynasty assets, but it's still there.
All right. Here we go. Number 8. 8.
8 hot take alert coming from T-Pop here. We're going J.K. Dobbins.
I don't necessarily think that's a hot take, but
number 8, Nick Chubb. Great.
I also have Nick Chubb at number 8.
Great school.
Carrying that garbage quarterback he has. Anyway. Bruce.
I like Cam Akers at 8. Like I said, prior thing. I like him a lot. Draft him high.
I think Cam Akers there is fine for me. I think that's like pretty fair.
Oh, I think it's way too high.
No. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm just trying to be
8
nice
is
here.
way too high.
All right, number 9.
Number 9,
You
I
got
have,
Thom at
I
9.
have Derrick Henry here.
Okay. Al.
Number 9, I have Cam Akers.
I have Kamara here at 9, and Bruce, who do you got at 9?
Give me Joe Mixon. I think it's finally the comeback's on.
I feel like
The
people say that
dynasty
every
asset?
year.
I don't know if
I think that there's I don't think there's anyone else there running back wise. I know say what you want about the passing game, but I think Mixon kills it this year.
Okay.
I don't think he's that old.
Why not a dynasty asset? you're naming some of these other guys that are older, and Joe Mixon's still 24.
It's not the older that gets me. It's just the talent. I think there's a lot more talented running backs. Like for me personally, I haven't even named Aaron Jones yet, and like I would like J.K. Dobbins over him. I would take Aaron Jones over him. I take DeAndre Swift over him. It's not so much the age. I think Tom said it. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. But I feel like every year we hear about this Joe Mixon explosion, and he's a good back. I'm not saying he's not a good back, but like to me, he's just like a kind of a middle of the road RB2 kind of guy
I think
for
the
me.
biggest thing now is Giovanni Bernard is gone, and that was his
Exactly.
biggest problem. Is
True.
Giovanni
That
Bernard
gives him
was
a
coming
huge
in all the
boost.
time on third downs, which would just limit PPR points, would limit any of these things, and I guess it depends on if you have faith in the Cincinnati Bengals offense or not. If they're gonna be a good offense,
But I also
it's
think
gonna be good
like
because he's the only guy.
you bring up dynasty asset when the window for like if the age-old strategy for dynasty is you don't really care about running backs till you're in a position to win. These are all guys that you would try and trade for to be in a position to win. You can get Najee Harris tomorrow, but if your team's not going to be good for 4 years, well, what's the point? And you can get these young running backs, but if your team's not good, that's also what I'm basing this on. Because
again, I'm not sitting here telling you to put Javonte Williams or Travis Etienne. I have a bunch of older backs on this list too. My number 10 is Aaron Jones. I just think it's a talent thing. I think there's a lot more talented running backs out there, but that's just me personally. Like
No, right.
I don't do I if you offered me Joe Mixon and you're like, hey man, like you can add him to your team, like just give me a second, like I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, like yeah, let me do that. But to me, like I put Harris so high up on the list because I think he's a stud. And again, I haven't seen him play, and if it doesn't work out, then yeah, I'm going to walk that back. And then I'll probably throw DeAndre Swift on there before I put Joe Mixon on there anyway. It's not an age thing. It's not like an asset thing. But like again, like it's like I feel like I've been hearing this for years. It's the Joe Mixon breakout year, and I think like you said, Giovanni Bernard is gone, but I think that there's more talent there in other positions. So we're last one each. I already gave mine. It's Aaron Jones. So who do you got there, Thumb?
Yeah, number 10. I have Najee Harris. He hasn't played yet, but I think kind of what you said, Dennis. He's a stud, but since he hasn't played, I can't put him higher than that, in my opinion.
Totally understand. Al?
I've got J.K. Dobbins at 10.
Okay. And Bruce, who was your 10?
Actually, same as Tom. Najee Harris, literally the same reason. I can't. If I haven't seen him play, I can't put him super high yet.
Hi everybody, it's Thom. Goodbye.